Did you see the end of the Colorado game and Coach Prime and Shador? I mean, let's like your schedule on Get Up and First Take this week is going to be so
Yeah.
busy because now Colorado's 3-1, Paul.
And I want to make it clear, my criticism of Prime has primarily been off the field. This has been his comments. I mean, they are the most entertaining team in the country, and that was just simply beyond words what we saw there. And I think what it did, it brought Travis Hunter back into serious Heisman consideration. I mean, he made the play of the game, even though it wasn't the one everybody's talking about.
Yeah, I don't think there's any debate on that. You know, we have fun with the Prime thing, because Prime's very vocal off the field, but that you can debate whether or not he's building a team, a brand, or a program. That's fine. What you can't debate, and Paul just alluded to it there, Travis Hunter is the best player in college football. He's the best two-way player in college football, and it was again shown last night. And so now, Paul, you look at their schedule. I think people had the Baylor game as a win coming in. Baylor's kind of down with Dave Aranda, even though Baylor had a chance to win that game, and it's inexcusable to let a guy get behind you twice in a Hail Mary situation. But now Prime next week, they go to UCF, Coach Boom, Bounce House. That'll be one, like they get that win. Now you got to start, they're 4-1. I mean, that's going to be a fun one to watch with both of those two.
Yeah, and listen, I'm a fan of the excitement. My biggest beef last week wasn't with Prime; it was with Stephen A. Smith defending Prime. Well, I can live with that.
Get ready, because you're about to do it again, because you're going to get a full dose of Stephen A. I told you so this week.
Yeah, but that's fair. Listen, I want the critics out there to know. I'll speak for you too, Matt. We love college football. We really don't care what you say as long as you're talking.
Yeah, I drew the ire of Ohio State fans because I tweeted a little joke on Friday night when Kyle McCord was playing well for Syracuse. He said Kyle McCord's Ohio State's best quarterback. Boy, you'd have thought. I mean, it was like that's what I love about the fan bases. They find anything, whether we're having fun or not, and attack.
And Matt, if I can say something about Ohio State?
Yeah.
I've always been a big fan of that administration up there, but I mean, what we've seen from Ohio State this year is really beyond words. The fact that they took the road less traveled, that they played the worst non-conference schedule I have seen. And Georgia had a reason for it last year, if you remember. They had that game with Oklahoma that they can someone explain what Ohio State's reason and rationale has been this year?
Well, let's look at their schedule while you're talking about it. Yeah. Akron, Western Michigan, Marshall. That's not a gauntlet.
I mean, it's just, I mean, we're seeing, I was with Brian Kelly Saturday, and, he played UCLA, which is not that big a deal, but it's still better than any of those three. He played USC. We've seen all the other games, Florida, Miami, and Georgia, Clemson. I mean, that is laughable. I mean, what Ohio State has done is truly a travesty. And I know they won't be held accountable because they'll run the table with maybe more with either no losses or one loss, and it won't matter. But it's still embarrassing, and it's really it's a complete and total ripoff of the fan base, the Ohio State fans who support the program. Now, Ohio State fans, most of the ones I meet, really they're like sheep. I mean, you can just lead them anywhere. You can lead them to slaughter, and they'll say, "Thank you, sir. May I have another?" But I would be up in arms at the money you have to spend to support a program like that, especially with a $20 million payroll last year, to have those type of garbage games on my home schedule.
Yeah, so now they go on the road for the first time next week at Michigan State, year one, Jonathan Smith, and then 2 weeks in a row, really, I mean, 4 weeks in a row if you really look at it. Home against Iowa, and Iowa minus Cyhawk in the loss to Iowa State. They look different this year. They can run the ball. They're always going to play defense. So Iowa will get to learn a lot about them. Then there's the big one, October 12th at Oregon, which is really going to be the game of the year for them until Michigan. Because look, here's what Ohio State does do with their soft schedule. And we've seen this with some other teams early on. And Ole Miss has been good about this as well, because their schedule had been great. They at least beat the hell out of the teams that they should,
They do.
So
Yeah, I mean that's fine. I just think of all the fans I run into at airports every Friday morning, and one from Ohio State this week was berating me, and I'm like going, what have you guys done? I mean, you've lost to Michigan 3 straight years, and you're playing some middle schools basically to get ready for your Big Ten schedule.
yeah, and we'll see what they do with the Big Ten schedule. But I still believe, and even now, and I'd say this, Paul, going into the season, we thought Georgia best, most talented. I don't think it's disputable right now. I think Ohio State, roster wise, the most talented team in the country. Can
Absolutely.
they put that to work when it starts? We'll find out here. Get to know. We're going to end this one Matt Barrie Show presented by Allstate. Paul, we love him. He was a former colleague. He had Texas going in his heyday as one of the most historic double-digit win runs we've ever seen in college football. Did you see what happened in North Carolina and Mack Brown yesterday? And did you hear what Mack allegedly said post-game, then walked it back after hanging 70, letting JMU hang 70 on them at home?
Yeah, I'm going to get in trouble here because one of the greatest experiences I've had in television has been with you and Mack Brown on Sunday morning, doing Sports Center, and he's one of the great people. But Mack, when you lose to JMU, don't joke about walking away, because your fans will take you seriously and hope that you follow suit. I'm not going to tell Mack Brown what to do because he's beloved by his athletic director, as you know.
Yeah.
I've had Bubba Cunningham tell me repeatedly, I am lucky to have Mack Brown as my coach. Well, I'm not so sure that's accurate anymore, because he does this every year, Matt. He throws away a game, and I don't know enough about JMU to say that that they don't deserve respect. They probably do. I mean, I know they've been a named program for a long time, but that should never happen, and that doesn't happen to programs that are at the high level that Mack Brown should have this Tar Heel program at.
Yeah, and when the story serves, by the way, JMU coming into the year, we have them on Thursday Night Football in a few weeks. I mean, they lost their head coach, Kurt Signetti, to Indiana. He's got Indiana undefeated. A lot of talent went with him and transferred out. So, I mean, they're not the JMU that we saw last year when they were running through the Sun Belt in their first year at that level. But I do think the fact that look, and maybe Mack was being honest in the locker room, saying, guys, I'll walk if I don't get this thing turned around. So I applaud him for that. But in a day and age where everything gets out, there's the one thing you can't do. And I'm not going to tell Mack Brown how to be a head coach. He's one of the great head coaches of all time. But it is when you hear that, now that stays out there. And Chris Lowe said, look, he reported that Mack's back at work today. We get it. There were rumblings going on in the afternoon. Did Mack just quit? I might turn